Okay, here's a bit of an update. This here is my strut for my van, and I was driving to work, and what happened was the strut seat failed. You can see all this busted up metal right here, and then let me see if I can get this thing out of here. There we go. So what happened was when the strut seat broke, you can see the bend. This part of the seat pushed into the tire, so it was like smoking the tire all the way to work. I thought I was behind somebody with car problems, but the car problems was me. So I got the strut out. You know, it's a lost cause basically. So and I got a new one from Advanced Auto Parts. I just got this thing apart like an hour ago. So here's what's left. Here's the strut missing from inside of the van. So there's the top where the shock tower mounts, and the strut bolts and all in here, and took a little doing to get it all apart, but it's all apart. I got the new part from Advanced Auto Parts. I'm gonna put it on first thing in the morning, and I'll be up and running again. Took about an hour to get this thing apart. Should take about an hour to get it back together. So that's the extent of my adventures for today. I did do a little kitchen work. I'll show you that next. Okay, so here's what I did. I put a piece of plywood on the exterior of the door and a piece of quart plastic on the top of the door. This was to seal up the hallway, because what we had on the other side of the hallway was a big bunch of plastic that was covering up that opening that leads into the kitchen. Now Steve needs to do some work on this corner right here. He's got to fix some of the plywood and the sheetrock and blend everything in and put in a corner. So he needs to do some substantial flaring in right there, and he just needed to have like an airlock a little bit back behind that where he's going to do his work. And now here's the one on the right that he already put the corner bead on. So he's got 2 or 3 coats on this already. He's got a little more work to do to finish it up, but he's making some pretty good headway on that. So he was here most of the day putting down his second and third coats of the mud, and now he's got to do these corners. So what I did here was, when you close it, this hits right up against the molding for the bathroom door and stops. I put a piece of plastic over our spice rack, and up top you can see that there's a cover up there for above the door. Everything has been taped with painter's tape to hold the plastic in, so that's going to work pretty good as far as a second airlock or / barrier to keep the dust down. So here's the rest of the room that he was working on. He was putting second and third coats on everything and sanding in between. He's just trying to fair all the edges so everything is nice and smooth and flat and square, and there's no divots or raised edges. So he's been working on that most of the afternoon. He still has to work on the beams. He hasn't gotten too far on that yet. He wanted to get all the flat surfaces done first before he attacks that. So here's the ceiling. Now what I did up here for this piece of wood is I put 1 screw in the top of the molding on the cellar door, and 1 screw on the top of the molding on the bathroom door. And that's just holding up those pieces of wood and that plastic quart glass that seals the door between the top of the door and the ceiling. And this plywood is just screwed in with tiny little screws in the back of the cellar door, so there's not going to be any permanent marring of that door, because when you close it, it's going to face the stairs. And I taped up the seam between the hinges, so that's airtight, so that won't have an entry point for any dust. And it's a pretty good fit. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. While I was busy working on the car, Jane went to Turco and ordered this fire clay sink, and that's going to be available on Tuesday for pickup. This is the weekend. I guess it's in their warehouse, a different warehouse than South Windsor, so they're going to move it from the main warehouse to South Windsor, and we'll pick it up. And Jane also ordered our faucet for in front of the sink, so there it is there. That's a motion control on there, and the spigot thing pulls out for a little sprayer. So here's the schematics on that. So we're going to have to provide this information to the people who do the granite sink top, so they know how big a hole they need for to go through the countertop for the valve to be bolted in. So there's the schematic. It's a Moen. It's stainless, brushed stainless steel, so it's going to match our appliances. So that's the faucet and the sink. So Jane was busy taking care of some of the kitchen components while I was fixing the van.